Good afternoon. Before you can see the ultimate in space opera board games, Twilight Imperium 4th edition, and it's Twilight Imperium 4th edition expansion, The Prophecy of Kings. The chap at the local gaming store, that's about a mile from me, pop in once a month or so, knew I was after the Prophecy of Kings expansion. I didn't have the base game, and I said to him, if you can get the expansion, which improves an already excellent game, I says, then I'll get them both. And a week ago today, it's Tuesday today, a week ago today, got in touch with me and says, I've got 3 Prophecy of Kings expansions in the store. He says, one's already spoken for. Do you want one of the others? So there and then I said, yeah, put one aside for me, and also I'll take the base game now that you've got the expansion. And I went in, was it the same afternoon? It might be the following day I went in, on the Wednesday. Picked up these 2 boxes, carried them home. As I say, it's about a mile away. My bloody arms were hanging off by the time I got home, because these boxes are big and heavy. And the 3rd expansion box had been sold as well the previous day. So it's a good job he did ring me and put me one aside, because all 3 boxes had gone the same day. And apparently, I don't know if Fantasy Flight have pushed a few more out, they've done a reprint on it, or if these were in stock somewhere, but they're like Rocky Nose poo. You just can't get your hands on them. They sold out instantly when they first were released about a year or so ago. So I'm lucky to actually get the Prophecy of Kings. But now I've got it, I've got to try and play it. Now I have watched quite a few playthroughs on YouTube, so I'm reasonably au fait with the game. Well, certainly the base game, but I know that the expansion adds a hell of a lot more. It makes an already excellent game even better, if that's possible. So they're still in shrink. I'll turn them round. And it's no easy feat, because these things weigh a pig in ton. Even this one, it's almost as big, well, it's as deep. It's the same depth as the core box, just a bit narrower. Or is it shorter? One of the two. Right, let's focus in on Twilight Imperium, the base game. As you can see, it's Fantasy Flight, so there's a gazillion tokens, but there's miniatures, all the spaceships, army units, cards galore. There's tiles. You create your own map with the tiles, with all the stars, planets, etc. on. Players have their own player board, and there's 17 factions included, so you can play any of 17 different races. There's enough colours in the box for a 6-player game, designed for up to 6, which would take up a massive amount of space. If I move across to the expansion, this one makes it up to an 8-player game, adding 2 more colours, and it also includes some new cards, some new projects, some new star tiles, planet tiles, etc., and some more races. And it also comes with some mechs, which you can use on land battles alongside your infantry, and quite a few other extra bits and pieces that come with this. And a lot of the pieces, they've also, with the new cards and things, they've backdated it to the original one. So in other words, this expansion, it upgrades your original, because it gives you the cards that you would need for the expansion for the original factions, which obviously didn't have it in the core game. So they've done a good job of it, and the reviews I've read and the games I've watched played, people say that once you've added the expansion, you'll never go back to the plain base game. Well, obviously I've never played a plain base game, so I will start with just the base game, and then once I'm comfortable with that, I'll have Prophecy of Kings. Now, I was going to do an unboxing, but there's an absolute ton of unboxing videos on the net. It seems little point me adding to that. It's just a waste of electric and space. If you want to see it, you can. I'll put that down there so you can read that. You can go and watch them. To be honest, I'm not even going to take him out the shrink yet, because it's not going to get played any time in the next, well, certainly not next 4 or 5 weeks. So they'll go back, just get put back in the cupboard. I'll leave them in the shrink. No need for me to open them. But I thought I'd let you know that I'd got these beasts, and there will be some playthroughs in the future once I've got my head around it. Let's just go to the other contents so you can see that as well. Yeah, so I do like my space games, especially when they've got miniatures, you know, spaceships and such. Yeah, the board's going to get a bit cluttered and hectic, but you get a lot of counters to replace some of the fighters and the ground units. And it is, you know, it is and has been up near the top of the BGG, you know, top games, pretty much since it came out. And I mean, I never saw the original Twilight Imperium, or the one before this, 3, and I assume there was a 2. So it's been going a fair few years, but it's always maintained its popularity, and it's got a huge, huge following. So I finally took the plunge in this gigantic space opera, and hopefully during the course of the winter I'll get a few games in. So as I say, I'm not going to unbox it. There's loads on the internet if you want to see it. It does contain an absolute ton of stuff, and the boxes are very, very heavy. I can attest to that after carrying them a mile home. So, right, okay, I'll leave it at that, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.